Exclusive interview and never before seen footage with Marjorie Taylor Greene. These are like the best cheese curds I've ever had, too. These are fucking amazing. They've been so good. I've got like just a couple handfuls left. I might eat them during this Marjorie Taylor Greene interview.
As I appear to have run afoul of probably the worst woman in American politics, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I mean, she is.
On our show Tuesday night, MTG, Clan Mom as we call her,
right,
defending our capital against the
fried cheese curds
held in sight on January 6th. That's who she called.
They say ignorance is bliss, but when it comes to Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, ignorance is hateful and dangerous. It was a 5-minute transphobic tirade masquerading as feminism.
Yep.
From people like Greene, people who are always trying to reduce our lives to bedrooms, bathrooms, or locker rooms.
That could be Marjorie Taylor Greene's motto. That could be every day when she goes to work, I'm still here. Stupid don't get tired. And not just Congress, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who every day is fighting to be the dumbest person in Congress.
Welcome to the right wing. It's not family values at all. They hate everyone that isn't exactly like them. And it's just a release for them. It's emotional release. Like, because their lives aren't going well. So what are they picking on? They're picking on little kids. They're disgusting.
Now you gotta make her out to be a victim.
Marjorie Taylor Greene has been swatted twice now in 2 days.
Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene says that she was a victim of a swatting attempt.
Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene says that she was the victim of a swatting incident.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene speaking out, saying that she was swatted by a 911 caller.
Gore. Now I'm still convinced that this is coming from the right.
Allowing us in your home. We're going to tell the story.
The person that called apparently said they were a trans activist. So come the fuck on.
So controversial on topics that I would think 99% of Americans would agree on.
You would think, but in Washington, D.C., these issues seem to be the most controversial issues, especially to Democrats. So this is my first time being in Congress. I'm a freshman member of Congress.
I'm not sure, Major. I'm not sure. I don't even know what this restaurant is.
Probably the most attacked member of Congress in United States history. And anyone that's been paying attention knows that. Starting out early, being kicked off committees, Democrats entering a House resolution to expel me with over 73 co-sponsors with no reason given. But I think it was in February or March when we were fighting on the Equality Act. This is a bill that is so radical, basically destroys gender, puts any kind of trans person, puts
it destroys gender,
women's rights, puts men into women's bathrooms, men into women's sports, makes abortion on demand legal everywhere. And so that was a bill that I fought really hard on, and that was when I really started taking a hard stand on a basic truth that there's only two genders.
But Glory, you don't like cognitive dissonance. They think when they do it, it's okay.
Science and reality, but God created us male and female in His image. He created us, and that is where I have fought because I believe it is a foundational.
Yeah, dude, they're abortion on demand. It was a new app they were working on before Roe v. Wade.
This is something that we even debate on. We shouldn't debate on this.
You place your order and you get a abortion within 2 hours. It's kind of like Instacart.
From the radical left, the godless left that believes in destroying gender, they completely want to wipe that away, take away women's rights, make it so that any man can totally defeat a woman just by calling himself a woman. We've seen this in every level. We've seen it in sports, where we see in swimming, for example, a man that is identifying as a woman and he's setting all the records and beating all the women. We see Dr. Rachel Levine.
He is not setting all the records.
You know, he's like this top woman working in our government. He's a man. He's a man that he was a man his entire life, and now he identifies as a woman. But I've received so much hate from the left for my strong stance. And but you can't back down off of that. It's critical and important to do that. And so what happened is we started seeing this new industry emerge, right, Brian? I mean, I know you've probably seen a lot of it. And it's this industry where it's the gender affirming care industry. And it's not care, it's not affirming. And what it is it's real genital mutilation surgeries. It's double mastectomies, it's hysterectomies, it's castration, hormone therapy, puberty blockers. And
I'm a big fan of what the Italian people did to Mussolini.
Children. And so as we are just seeing these stories come out in the detrans community, these are the people that have been through all of this stuff, and they are heartbroken. They're devastated. They're suicidal. They're depressed because of what they've done to their bodies. And it's life.
So transitioning has less of a what do they call it? Fucking shit. A regret rate than like knee surgery. People regret knee surgery more than they regret transitioning. But the percentage of people who detransition are, the majority of those are because they still face societal pressure from people like you asshole.
Altering, permanent. You cannot change it. And because of the attack on children, I introduced legislation called the Protect Children's Innocence Act. And I did that just over a week ago. I've got 19 Republican co-sponsors. It's building and growing. And my bill is such a critical piece of legislation. If it goes into law, it makes anyone that is performing or involved in gender affirming care on anyone under 18, it's a Class C felony.
RB, like, I'm not high enough for this shit.
Crime. And I believe it's so important to
Chris
do.
Q, did you get to the Kobe or something? Thank you very much.
Their very identity and the core of who they are and how God made them, then we can do nothing. And I think this is such an important issue to fight on, but it definitely has put my life in danger.
And I need weed. I need weed.
To sponsor this bill. So there are people that support you, but then obviously there are people on left and right that are
Buy me a covfefe.
You would think it'd be a core value to conservatives.
I can't even imagine why it's.
Let me cash this motherfucker out. We can get us a fresh one.
It's not an argument with the public. It's not an argument among the people, and that's always how it is in politics.
I wanna see the exclusive footage. Oh, here we go. Let's get to it.
Kids, and allow these school teachers or psychologists or social workers, whoever they are, to
how did I get that close to the 911 call and she's still on about fucking trans kids?
No, parents, you are violating trans kids' rights. Parents are violating that. Those are states we can't trust. We cannot trust those states, and that's why it's important to make it a federal law.
So that's the backstory on what you're about to see. Now, it all started in the early morning hours on Wednesday with a 911 call. Let's listen in.
County 911. Yes, the address I'm calling about is. Okay, what's going on? My name is with the Veterans and Military Crisis Line, and we got a call from I'm not sure. The caller reported that their boyfriend had come to the home and that they shot him 5 times and that he was currently in the bathtub. Okay, what caller refused. It is 2. Oh.
So they called a veteran crisis hotline?
And what's going on there? Okay, so the caller stated that she reported that their boyfriend had come to the home and that they shot him 5 times and he's currently in the bathtub. Caller refused to provide names, but insisted on providing the address, ensuring that it was had it correctly. Caller stated that they were going to load the gun and take their own life and then stop responding. The line is still open with our mental health responder.
Okay, who's calling this? What company are you with again?
The Veterans Crisis Hotline.
Okay, and tell me the address one more time.
It is right?
And they're saying that the boyfriend showed up to the house and they shot him 5 times?
I've seen some wonderful 911 operators that, are very cordial and helpful. But for the most part, when I'm exposed to 911 calls, it seems like the dispatcher is usually incompetent as fuck. And this one is also incompetent, it seems.
Right. So we don't know if it's real or not.
No, I know. We just have to make sure that we get to the right place. We do have everybody on the way, and he wouldn't give any names.
No.
Once again, I don't believe this was a swatting incident. I believe a sheriff's deputy probably went to her house.
The phone number they're calling from is 7
and knocked on her door. And I find it hard to believe that the local sheriff's office didn't know that was Marjorie Taylor Greene's home. I mean, you know the home of the congressperson you live in.
Yes.
Non-smoker. Maybe hit me up on the Discord. Are you on Discord?
Let me ask, because she didn't.
I know I'm not high enough for this shit right now.
So she's typing. While she's typing, could I get your badge number or ID, please?
21.
Okay, thank you. She says she cannot, so she cannot tell they're using an app, text to talk. We don't. I'm helping another crisis line. So
if you're just joining us, this is the 911 call to the dispatcher from one of Marjorie Taylor Greene's quote-unquote swattings.
Right, so she doesn't.
I don't think a SWAT team went to her house.
Female voice.
I would say a sheriff's deputy knocked on her door and just asked her if she was okay.
What else was I going to say? They said
maybe they took a walk around her place.
Auto guns and a handgun.
So now, some person called in to a military and veterans crisis hotline and reported that they had shot their boyfriend and left him in the bathtub and was going to take their own life.
Make sure I have this right. Their boyfriend came over and whoever's at the house shot the boyfriend?
Now, that's a swatting. That's what swatting is. Going in with flashbangs, knocking doors down and shit. That's a swatting.
No, what they did. Reported that their boyfriend had come to the home. They shot him.
But I just a dispatch would have to know, that's the congressperson's home.
Yeah, the spelling's not correct.
The what?
Right.
Okay.
That's a very disturbing call. Obviously, a lot of uncertainty there with the 911 responder. Walk us through that night.
Well, it was Tuesday evening, and Congress is not in session, so it's been really nice. I'm finally at home, getting to spend time with my family.
You could resign and be at home if you really like that much.
My daughter and her husband were visiting me that night and spending the night at my house. We'd had a great time just hanging out that evening. Went to bed early, which was wonderful, and just went to sleep, not expecting anything. I live out in the country. It's rural Georgia, so it's nice and quiet, and the only thing we hear at night might be the crickets or just country sounds. So I was really shocked to hear a doorbell and knock at my door at just after 1 o'clock in the morning.
even if you take it at its word, like the incident would be domestic violence.
And I jumped out of the bed and I saw flashlights going around outside my bedroom windows. I could hear people walking, and I
me cakes.
I could see a little bit of lights outside.
We are watching Marjorie Taylor Greene give an interview after her swatting. It was not a swatting. She's not describing a swatting. She's describing a welfare check. So we just listened to the 911 audio.
Tuesday evening, and Congress is not in session, so it's been really nice. I'm finally at home, getting to spend time with my family, just catching up on normal life things.
I don't necessarily think that
and her husband were visiting.
I don't necessarily think that it was Marjorie Taylor Greene's camp that did it, but I am positive that it is a right-winger that did it. Positive.
Me that night and spending the night at my house. We'd had a great time just hanging out that evening. Went to bed early, which was wonderful.
I'll hit you up after the stream, non-smoker.
Went to sleep, not expecting anything. I live out in the country. It's rural Georgia, so it's nice and quiet, and the only thing we hear at night might be the crickets or just country sounds.
Sometimes your neighbors shoot off some guns.
Really shocked to hear a doorbell and knock at my door at just after 1 o'clock in the morning. Not expecting anyone.
Welcome. Good
No
evening.
one should be coming to my home at that time. And I jumped out of the bed and I saw flashlights going around outside my bedroom windows. I could hear people walking, and I was very frightened. I could see a little bit of lights outside.
Yeah, cops suck.
A car light, and that's what I saw, and I thought, oh gosh, something's going on. So I got dressed, and that was when I was preparing to go out of my room. Now, something I normally do, Brian.
Yeah, RB, the dispatcher might not have familiarity with the area. I understand what you're talking about, that some are outsourced, but the deputies do. The deputies would have to know that that's the congressman's house. Bugs, welcome. Good evening. Thank you for being a freaking follower.
I'm a gun owner, and I believe in protecting myself.
We know, ma'am. We know.
Protecting my kids, anyone that's in my house.
Okay, hold up. Toad says hold up. Indeed, hold up. Somebody cash in the weed. I'm not high enough for this shit. I don't know that she saw blue lights. She's talking about like they had flashlights. They were walking around like the side of her house or something. They probably went to the back door and the front door. She saw a spectral light. Weed!
And if I'm going to go to the front door and someone's coming over and I don't know who's coming, I will bring a gun with me to the door. And so this is the gun that I have in my bedroom, and I picked it up, of course, to carry it with me to the front door.
Well, Mater, she proved you wrong. She's like, I'm going to prove Mater wrong. I'm going to pick up a fucking gun right now.
Inside me said, don't take that with you. And that was like a really strong feeling, and I thought twice about it.
Because normally you would think you're home
absolutely.
late.
Oh man, it would have been awesome if she came out shooting. Oh my God, it would have been awesome if she came out shooting. I mean, proper gun safety, you wouldn't have, if you have it in your bedroom, you would have it locked in a gun safe.
Right. Middle of the night? Yeah, absolutely. Because I don't know who's coming. And I heard people outside my window. But something said, don't take this with you. So I didn't. I put it down. I put it back down in my bedroom. And that's when I opened my bedroom door and went down the hall.
She put it back down. It was just in the floor for the dogs to play with. She has her grandchildren come over. They like to play with it too.
Now, mind you, before this, you've gotten threats on Twitter. I mean, Twitter bots attack you. But this is the first time that anybody has ever targeted you at your home, or first time you...
Damn right, Bugs.
Well, I didn't even know what was happening yet. Yeah. So yes, just for the record, I have an extremely high amount of death threats. I'm at the top of the list as members.
Ma'am, would you like to see my Facebook message request? Would you like to see my Facebook? I hold on, I saved one just a little bit ago. I don't think I can read it to the stream. Jesus Christ, no wonder you can't get laid, you stupid. fuck, you get a life, and you're dumb little simp troll.
Of Congress of having some of the most death threats. There are several people on trial right now that because they're threatening to murder me. They're on trial right.
Wait. Bugs is cool, isn't he? No, free speech doesn't include hate speech. Core, I think you're jumping the gun. I think Bugs is based over here. I think Bugs is a comrade.
Right now, they target me all the time. I'm not only targeted from the outside. I just need for people to understand. I'm targeted inside my office building.
That's what I thought, Bugs. I got you.
Outside my door.
I try to be a magnet for the trolls, so forgive the chat if they get a little hot.
Trust the science. They
come in a little hot.
So much hate in the office building I work in, and as a matter.
Let's see if we get more footage. Oh yeah. Here we go. This is what I came for.
But he still has his job. So this is the garbage that I deal with all the time from the left. Not only am I threatened constantly on social media, people calling our offices, threatening, people calling my personal phone numbers, my family's personal phone numbers.
Oh, and I ask for it too. I ask for it.
And then in the middle of the night, so if someone's at my home and I don't know who it is, you better bet it's important for me to take a gun. But it was so odd for me to have that feeling not to.
Okay, well, your home's got a lot of video cameras around inside and outside. Let's take a look at the first camera. Now, this shot we're looking at right now, that's a shot that shows the cars coming down the road at night. You can see the headlights going down the road. Let's describe, once again,
they didn't have their blue lights on.
Sound asleep.
Sound asleep, and your street is in the middle, let's just say nowhere,
essentially.
Yeah. So as you can see, they didn't come in with sirens blaring.
Nope.
But you can see the video there of the cars pulling in. We also have some other
this is not a swatting.
People walking around your house. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so when you see those cars coming up my street, and there's no reason for cars to go down my street. It's a dead end. So for cars to be coming in like that, there's clearly a reason. I was sound asleep when that was happening. You can see how quiet they came in. And then the cars stop, and you see.
I didn't hear the claim about her saying her son.
They gather together.
Told her not to bring it.
They come quickly up to the house, and then it's obvious who they are. It's the police.
Mm-hmm. And you can see them as they.
Aren't you pro-police?
Kind of staked out around your house,
yes.
Looking for any signs of activity inside.
That's
now,
right.
This next camera angle is front at your foyer here. That's when they.
I mean, it get like.
Ring the doorbell.
It could be a nice section of a rural area.
Camera footage there.
Okay, so, and we also have to understand the mindset of the police.
But she's also like a multimillionaire.
On the 911 call, what was being reported? It was being reported that someone had been shot 5 times in the chest. They're in the bathtub of my home.
This is not a swatting. This is the same thing. This is the same thing Tim Pool did. This is just the cops coming and doing a welfare check. Swatting would be if they busted down your fucking door, pointed a gun in your face, and told you to get on the ground. That's swatting. This is just the deputies coming to fucking say, hey, we've had a report. We need to check it out. We don't think anything's going on. And like they knew. They even said it on the call. We don't know if it's real or not. The person from the Veterans Crisis Line, her parents core. I would like to think I'm pretty far left, but I would say the chat is further left than I am. I'm pretty work within the system. I like electoral politics, and that's what we cover here on this show predominantly. I do electoral politics, then criminal justice, workers' rights, in that order, pretty much. That would be the main focus of this show, but we do a little bit of everything. Like we're gonna talk some space here at the end. I was the news director of 11 radio stations, a writer for 4 different newspapers. So like I've met Mitch McConnell. I fell asleep at a Mitch McConnell speech because it was on a Monday morning and I've been doing meth all weekend. I believe that several industries need to be nationalized. Am I a socialist? No. Am I a capitalist? Technically, I file my taxes as a small business owner, but you know, hey, I am for a very heavy-handed regulation, at least from the government. I'm for nationalization of certain industries, healthcare and energy being top of those. But if there's one thing we can all agree on, RB, behave yourself. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene deserves not to be judged on her looks and made out to be just an object. Stop talking about her asymmetrical boobie.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Yeah, her parents own like some kind of a farm or some shit. I'm Bugs, I'm reasonable. If you can bring me a proposal, I'm down to hear it. Are we gonna get more footage? I want to see more footage of what went on.
I came down the hallway and I came out of my hallway and I looked around to look at the front door and I saw police out there. And I was like, oh gosh, there's something serious going on. It really upset me because usually, I mean, if police are coming to your house in the middle of the night, there's a serious thing. I thought, gosh, I hope nobody in my family's been hurt or something happened.
Fair enough. Police coming to your house, it's a car wreck or something.
But when I opened the door and greeted the officers and I said, what's going on? It was their demeanor and just their like body language. They were
cops suck.
They had guns drawn. They were
cops suck.
Something serious. And he asked me, "Is everything okay, ma'am?" But it was the way he asked me that had me upset. And I was like, "Yeah," I said, "I was sound asleep. I don't know what's going on. What's happening?" And they were all kind of looking at each other, and they called the sergeant around, and he came up and he was asking me if, he's like, "Is there anything going on in your house?"
I wouldn't dare vote third party at this time, Bugs, but that's a conversation for another time.
I said, "Is there something wrong?"
I have voted third party many times
upset over what is happening. And they said, well, there was a report, there was a 911 call, and then he told me.
You're at this point in time, you're making a big deal out of nothing.
And then he goes, "I think you've been swatted."
Did you think that anybody might have been in the house and you just weren't aware of it?
I was
terrified. They attempted to swat you, possibly,
and so
but they didn't really do a good job.
And I wanted them to come in. I was like, "Can you please look around my house?" I just wanted them to check everything. So I invited them in, and then you can see that on the video when they came inside. And I went back down the hall to go talk to my daughter and her husband and let them know that, what's happening. But you can see that they still had guns drawn because this is where police officers don't know. They don't know if the call is real and they have to take it serious that the call may be real. Or at the same time.
But they didn't swat you. Nothing happened to you.
They have to be very level-headed and calm and in control.
They treated you well, unlike the people we saw earlier in this show.
Serious,
the young woman that they slammed her head into the ground.
There have been
the young man that they had his head just buried in gravel for 5 minutes.
Someone because they believed they were responding to a call. And that's what was happening to me.
Do you think that was their intent? They wanted you to get accidentally shot by this?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, here we go. Here's another 911 call.
Floyd County 911.
Hello, I am using text-to-speech because I do not want my identity revealed. I just swatted Congresswoman MTG. From this phone number, I want to confess.
Okay, what's going on?
I am the moderator on the cyberstalker website known as .net. I did this because MTG wants to ban transgender.
Yep. This is what proves to me that it is a right-winger.
.net username, so you may have a chance to unmask my identity.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, and what does that address have to do with transgender laws?
It's the address of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Address of Marjorie
Taylor Greene.
I just swatted her.
Gotcha.
Who is going to call and confess and give you a website and tell you their whole MO?
Ready for them to find me. Goodbye.
Can you hear me?
What's interesting is that call came in after the police left.
Yes, it is interesting, and they confessed. They said, I swatted Congresswoman MTG, they called me. And
I do not believe this at all.
They said why they did it, because she wants to stop transgender surgeries on children. Can you believe, Brian, that someone...
I don't know. Now I'm kind of thinking it came from like her camp. It was her people that did it now. Before I just felt like it was a idiot-ass right-winger trying to do something to help her, but now I kind of think like she's the one that did it. She's in on it. It was her people. Only a right-winger would say that. Right-wingers are absolute morons. There is no way in the world that somebody would like call and taunt the police, I'm ready for them to find me.
Wants to kill me because I want to protect kids from
You don't want to protect kids.
Changes them for the rest of their lives. Hysterectomies where they can't have children.
Milo works for her. I did not know that.
They can't have children. Double mastectomies that scar them for life. Hormone therapies that will change a young teenage girl's voice to sound like a man, and it can never change.
I'm convinced. Like this is like a right-wing operation going on here. I'm calling bullshit on you. Voodoo, welcome. Good evening. Do we have any more footage? I've enjoyed the footage. I've enjoyed the 911 calls. Okay, yeah, here we go.
Next night, you received another threat. Let's talk about that.
Floyd County 911, what's the location of your emergency?
Yeah, as of June, it says Milo's an intern.
Transferring an emergency call to you. There will be a on the line giving you information on an emergency call in your area. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. What's the location of your emergency?
I'm sorry. So I work for Lifeline, and I have a chatter. This may be a slaughter situation. Who's saying that they basically came out to their family about being transgender.
Yeah.
Shooting his family at the home.
Okay.
Absolute nonsense.
I'm sorry?
What's the address?
So I'm assuming that address was Marjorie Taylor Greene's address.
Wrong.
Okay, can you just reputation?
Borg! Yeah, we talked about that power plant, but like I didn't know it had been severely damaged. We talked about that. It was like the top story tonight.
Okay, is everything okay? I'm sorry if you couldn't hear me.
No, I can hear you.
I didn't know it was damaged and still maybe on fire. Goddamn.
That's what telling me. I work for Suicide Lifeline. He shot his family members, and he's going to.
Oh, Voodoo! We're gonna watch the footage, or go watch some footage above the Artemis rocket here at the end. Yeah, but this call is just—it's giving it all away. Yeah, it is a nuclear plant that they're afraid has been damaged.
Okay, and that's the male who possibly shot his family?
Yes. And I could give you a last name also that he provided me.
Okay, what's his last name?
So it's wild. It's wild that they went through Lifeline and a military crisis hotline. They didn't call 911 directly themselves. They went through a military crisis hotline and Lifeline or Life Alert or some shit like that. I think that's a giveaway too.